All right, I should probably explain what just happened. If you were expecting the midweek refuel tonight, well, you're not wrong. We just interrupted it this evening. And yes, it's my station, so I'm allowed to do that. But we didn't interrupt it for shock value. We interrupted it because sometimes the refuel has to stop and the alarm has to sound. Because for a long time now, everything that actually forms people has come through hijacked channels, hijacked beliefs, hijacked fears, hijacked desires, hijacked habits, all shaped quietly, constantly, and all shaped without your consent. So tonight, consider this a counter interruption. Not loud, not flashy, just intentional. This didn't start as a ministry idea. It didn't even start as a sermon. It definitely didn't start as a brand. It started as a meme. I saw the Trump penguin meme like everyone else did, and I laughed. And then I did the dangerous thing. I got curious. Not about the president's meme, but about the president's animal. That's when it stopped being funny. The emperor penguin stands through months of Antarctic winter, months of darkness, wind that will kill exposed flesh in mere minutes, cold so severe that machines fail. And during that entire time, the male penguin holds that egg on his feet. He doesn't wander. He doesn't go looking for comfort. He doesn't even get applause for doing it. He stands. He endures. He delivers. No one's watching. No one's clapping. No one's promising him it will be worth it one day. And yet, he holds. We live in a culture that doesn't know what to do with that any longer. We tell young men to avoid weight, to avoid responsibility, to avoid suffering, to avoid commitment. And then we act shocked when they're anxious, angry, numb, and lost. We removed hardship and replaced it with stimulation. We removed discipline and replaced it with self-expression. We removed calling and replaced it with comfort. And then we wondered why nothing felt solid anymore. Here's something no one told you plainly. You did not grow up untrained. You were trained, and trained constantly. You were trained to be reactive instead of disciplined. You were trained to be ironic instead of sincere. You were trained to be entertained instead of formed. You were trained to be sexually stimulated instead of covenant-minded, trained to have opinions instead of having accountability. You were trained to consume, not to carry. And the strangest part, the culture never told you it was training you. It just called it freedom. You weren't only lied to about ideas, all the list of things that you were lied to about would cause a mental dissonance if it were all laid bare in a moment. You weren't only lied to about ideas, you were lied to about how to live. You were lied to about your body, your habits, your health, your work. You were even lied to about your feet. You were told that comfort is always good, that friction is a problem to be solved, that resistance is cruelty, that discomfort means something has gone wrong. So everything was redesigned to remove resistance. Shoes that erase contact with the ground, chairs that weaken our postures, food engineered for our craving instead of for our nourishment, medicine reduced to symptom suppression instead of wisdom. Not because it made you stronger, but precisely because it made you easier to manage, easier to sell to, easier to pacify. You were taught to think of yourself primarily as a consumer, not a steward, not a bearer, not a man under orders, just a consumer. Someone whose literal job is to choose between options presented to him by someone else, even when it comes to his own health, even when it comes to his own body And here's the thing, none of this required a grand conspiracy. It only required incentives. A system that profits from weakness will never train you for endurance. It will train you to need the system. There's a word that we need to recover. It's not a trendy word. It's not a soft word. And that word is unfragility. Men are unfragile. And that doesn't mean invincible. It doesn't mean immune to harm. Rather, it means designed to strengthen under resistance, not to collapse beneath it. Look at creation around you. Muscle grows by resistance. Bone thickens under load. Skin toughens where friction meets it. Nothing strong is produced by removing contact with reality. Remove resistance, and nothing grows. Somewhere along the way, we were taught the opposite of that. We were taught that friction is always bad, that pressure is oppression, that struggle is injustice. So friction was removed everywhere. And here's the deception. The devil didn't do this while looking like a monster. Scripture says that he appears as an angel of light, gentle, kind posture, soft promises. Let me help. Let me make this easier. You shouldn't have to carry all this. And slowly and surely and quietly, men weren't enslaved by chains. Men were enslaved by padding. Life got smoother. Edges got rounder. Expectations lowered. Standards softened. Everything frictionless. And men grew weaker, not because they were bad men, but because they were never allowed to press against reality. Jesus does the opposite. He puts friction back in. Not because he enjoys suffering, but because he is a king, not a therapist. Kings do not promise you comfort. Kings promise you victory, and then they train their men for the march. Jesus does not float you above reality. He plants your feet firmly into it. He says, follow me, walk, carry, fast, watch, endure. Not to crush you, but to restore you. And let's say this plainly. We are not doing this to be impressive. We are not doing this to be admired. We are not doing this to win arguments. We are not doing this to reclaim what's left of culture. We are doing this for one reason: to be God's men. Not alpha men, not influencer men, not even revolutionary men. Faithful men. Men who stand their post when leaving would be a lot easier. And if that means standing in the cold, holding what we've been given, and no one ever notices, that is not failure. And if, God forbid, we freeze to death with an egg on our feet, then we have done our duty, and we can be mighty proud. Not proud of ourselves, proud that we did not abandon our post. Now here's something else you need to understand. When the enemy laughs at you, and he will, that is not proof that you are wrong. Often it's proof that you are close. Evil does not mock what is harmless. It ignores what is harmless. Mockery is nervousness. Nervousness dressed as confidence. The closer you are finally to the jugular, the louder the laugh becomes. And many of you have reached a point where you've lost almost everything, haven't you? My heart goes out to you. Or it was taken from you by people who don't even know your name and do not care if you survive. Your attention was sold. Your strength was dulled. Your future was mortgaged out from under you. And the system that promised to help you moved on long time ago. So here's the honest question. Why not try this? You've tried comfort. You've tried distraction. You've tried porn. You've tried drugs. You've tried numbing. What exactly do you still have to lose? Christ is not offering you escape. He is offering you restoration through obedience. He does not remove the friction. He redeems the friction. So, yes, We interrupted the midweek refuel because sometimes the engine needs more than fuel. It needs a course correction. If you're here looking for ease, this isn't it. But if you are here to stand, if you are here to endure, and if you are here to deliver what you've been entrusted with, then welcome home, brother. Next time, we'll talk about the huddle, because no one survives the winter alone. So when the noise gets loud, when the laughter starts, when quitting begins to feel really reasonable, you don't need a speech. You need a sentence. Stand your post.